Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of Talking Halos. I am your host today, Jared Timms, and I am joined alongside my co-host, my partner in crime, Nate Green. Nate, I don't need to introduce you. I really don't. I really don't think I need to. Let's just get right on to it. The Angels have fired Joe Maddon.
Wow.
I, I, I'm at a loss of words.
Somehow on this day, the Angels got worse. It's impressive. They haven't won in 2 weeks, and somehow they got worse at baseball today. So tough loss for the Angels to lose Joe Maddon. I am not a big Joe Maddon supporter, but I don't think that firing him is going to be the difference between this team making the playoffs and this team missing the playoffs. I think that Joe Maddon would do the exact same job that Phil Nevin's going to do. Honestly, I think Phil Nevin might be a little bit worse. I think we were on the show in the playoffs last year making fun of Phil Nevin for how bad of a third base coach he was. And we're going to entrust that guy with the keys to this team. So good luck.
I am at a loss of words right now. I really am. A change need to be made for sure. And we talked about it on the last podcast, I'm fairly certain, or at least one of the last ones that we talked about during this losing streak. And, Joe Maddon has made some difficult choices. We've said it also that Joe Maddon has not been given the proper team. They went out and spent $60-something million on pitching, and they did a fantastic job of filling holes needed. There are still holes that needed to be filled. And I don't know. I just don't know, to be honest. Again, you can hear my voice. I'm kind of at a lost words here. I don't think that this is the right move. However, in a week, if the Angels go off and win 7 in a row, I'm going to be eating we're going to be eating our words. I'm in agreement with you. I'm not a huge Phil Nevin fan. That doesn't mean that he's not going to be good. That doesn't mean that he's not going to flourish. That doesn't mean he's not going to get tossed out tonight's game. I have a weird feeling that he will. And I mean, if this goes sour, if today's night's game goes sour by any means, that's the first thing.
We've been calling for somebody to get kicked out for a week now, so it's time.
Yeah, no, 100%. And Yep.
I think the move is interesting, honestly. Joe Maddon is a player's manager. He's a guy who really knows when to put on the brakes and when to push the gas pedal and really make these guys work a little bit harder, or to ease them back and say, hey, we got to take a step back. So players love that. Phil Nevin seems like he is a little bit of a hard guy to coach with, a hard guy to play for. I think that Phil Nevin seems like he's a tough guy to play for. You just look at him and his personality, it comes across very similar to Joe Girardi. And you saw what the Phillies happened. They fired Joe, and they go off and win because it looks like the players were kind of like, all right, no matter what happens, like, we can just go play baseball. We're not going to get blown up for making a mistake. We're just going to go out there and play our game. And they bring in a guy kind of similar to Joe Maddon, where it's like, hey, let's just go out and play baseball. Let's not worry about everything else. Let's just go out here and play baseball. And that's the one thing I'm worried about is these guys. It's a long season, 162 games, and they're playing it in about 180 days. It feels like even less than that with the no off days this year. And when you get into the dog days of July and August, and maybe even into September, if this thing's even close, is Phil Nevin going to know when to turn it off and turn it on?
Well, the question isn't Phil Nevin, in a sense. It is, and I think you know where I'm going with this. Because Phil Nevin's going to be the voice, 100%. Phil Nevin will be the voice, and that's fantastic. I'm excited for that side of things. However, he was a coach already. He was the voice. This is now Perry Minasian's team, right? In all due seriousness, this is now Perry Minasian, this is now his team. This is he has the call. He's going to have the say in basically everything that happens on the field, basically everything that happens off the field. This is Perry's team. Perry, and that's what I said. I think we said this. Like if Joe gets fired, that this team is first off, there is nobody to take over for him that is better. Joe is not the best of was not the best of bullpen managers. We can I think I'll agree on that.
Yes.
However, Joe did do a fantastic job of clubhouse presence. However, it felt like there was something missing over these last, 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's
games.
called an offensive piece.
It's called two offensive pieces if you really want to dive deep into it. You don't have Anthony Rendon, you don't have Taylor Ward, and we're not going to make excuses for the Angels playing bad because this is a good baseball team that is hurt and playing bad. You're not going to agree with me, I know.
No, not at all.
Yeah, no, I know.
When your starting shortstop's career average is under 200, like you can't tell me this is a good baseball team. You cannot tell me that there was a playoff team in the last 10 years that has made the playoffs that has a starting shortstop hitting under 200 for his career. Not just for the season, for a career. We signed this guy to play shortstop every day.
And I agree. I'm going to stick with it, though. I think this is a good baseball team that is playing bad baseball right now, that is playing hurt. Like, that's just kind of how it is. And back on to Joe Maddon, like I said, he was not a good bullpen manager. He didn't manage the bullpen very well. We knew this. We said this for the past 3 years. And that's honestly, at the end of the day, that is what cost him his job was bullpen management. If the Angels win 2 games, he still has his job, correct? Angels probably win 1 game in this stretch, he probably still has his job, right? Like people are calling for, the Angels are 4-12 in their last 16 games or something like that if the Angels win a game, and you start thinking about it, but not if they've lost 12 in a row like this. That's an unacceptable thing to happen. But yeah, at the end of the day, Joe Maddon's bottleneck, which was bullpen management, cost him that job. The Angels had plenty of opportunities to win. They've lost how many 1-run games and how many wins because of the bullpen in the past 12 games? Like 5, 6. Like the Angels could be Angels should more than likely be a 500 team in the past 6 games if everything goes right. And again,
my counter to that is: did Joe Maddon put in the guys that we paid a lot of money to be the 7th, 8th, 9th inning guys? Did he put those guys in the game in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning?
Can I counter your counter? Adapt or die. You need to figure something out.
But did he put you guys in the 7th, 8th, 9th inning who we gave the most money to, who we said, hey, we're giving you $12 million, be our 7th inning guy. We're giving you $15 million, be our 8th inning guy. Yeah. We're giving you $20 million, be our 9th inning guy. Did he put those guys in that opportunity?
Some he did. And then sometimes, and this is dating back to Noah Syndergaard's 8-inning appearance, where he should have closed it out. Sometimes he brought them in unnecessarily, overusing them, going back to what we talked about way before, how this bullpen was not sustainably used. Correct?
Yes. But if we're putting those guys in situations and we're paying them this much money, they got to get a job done.
Oh, yes, 100%.
This isn't Joe Maddon's fault. Like, you can blame him for putting in guys in situations and things like that, but we are paying this bullpen $68 million and they are not getting the job done. So why? I'm frustrated with that. Like, I don't even care about our shortstop hitting, less than my weight, less than your weight.
Do a job.
Do your job. Yeah. Like, that's all we're asking for. If the Angels pitching staff did their job one night, we would have a win.
Joe Maddon would still have a job, a perfect example again, and we can point fingers wherever we want to point fingers. Like we said, we've been pointing fingers now at everything, is it Joe Maddon's fault now? Is it the bullpen's fault? Is it this? Is it this? Is it this? Is it bullpen management? Is it, blank, 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 blank? Have they not, has Joe Maddon lost control of this team? It'd be another fantastic question. We saw Mike Trout talking with Maddon, walking away in a sense from Maddon after that interesting relay that cost them a run, the only run of the game last night, by the way. But that again turns into pitchers did their job last night. They did a very good job of what they had to do. The offense didn't do their thing. Like when it rains, it pours right now. And right
when
now,
you have 6 guys in the lineup who are OPS under 800, 7
Yeah.
guys in the lineup with an OPS under 800, you can't expect to win baseball games right
No.
now. And this the same lineup that we've been running out for the last 6-8 years, where we have some guy hitting 4.56 who should not be hitting 4.56. They wouldn't be hitting 4.56 on any competitive playoff team anywhere else in baseball, except for the Angels, who claim to want to be a playoff team. And they're just going to continue to run out there and do the same thing that we've been saying they weren't going to do. And, they're just going to continue to experiment with the same stuff and hope that it works. But, that's why I claimed 82 and 80.
Here's the real test tonight. What lineup Phil Nevin
whatever Perry wrote.
It's whatever Perry wants. We will see what Perry wants here tonight with whatever lineup they throw out. I don't even think there's a starting pitcher named yet either, by the way. And we're sitting here as we're recording this at 1:30 Pacific Standard Time. I don't think there's a starting pitcher yet. The Angels don't really have a manager right now, to be honest. It should probably more than likely should have been Binchy Gill. I'm not in agreement
that's who I think it should have been too. But yeah,
whatever. What do we know? And it'll be very interesting to see the lineup that gets put out there by Phil Nevin and staff, or Perry Minasian. It'll probably be Perry's lineup here, and we will see how that works out. And I hope to God that Mike Trout's batting leadoff. Just give him.
We'll see if Perry gets a second year with real control, because if the Angels finish under 500, Artie Moreno is going to say, Perry, you had your shot, move on.
Well, no.
I'm in charge.
No, here's the thing. Joe was Artie's guy. Joe was Artie's pick there, and Artie gets what Artie wants, and that's fine. So next year, the Angels, or at some point this year, the Angels bring in their guy, and Phil Nevin is probably Perry's guy in a sense, possibly Perry's guy, but it's not managerial wise Perry's guy. And then next year we see who Perry wants to bring in as a manager. Who you probably start looking around, who's been with the Braves, who's been with Toronto, who's been with Milwaukee. I know there's going to start being a couple names that are thrown out there. It's probably going to be a first-year manager in a sense, and it's probably not going to be anybody with a real voice. And I'd be shocked. It could be Joe Girardi. I don't think so. I know the Angels fans are going to call for Mike Scioscia. I don't think Scioscia is going to be even an argument there. I don't think that he gets a look by any means. It's going to be a young guy from that Perry can control and that Artie can control, and we'll just kind of see how that works and see how the team goes out there and plays with no voice in the clubhouse. So,
but if this team does not play good to end the year, like if they finish under 500 to finish the year, Artie's going to say, "This is my team. I'm over it."
Yes. Yes. Well,
like this is the same,
definitely this offseason. For sure, this offseason, you're going to start seeing like who
Artie moves.
Carlos Correa probably opts out of Minnesota. There are going to probably be a bunch of guys that
Xander Bogaerts.
It becomes Artie's team this offseason if they don't finish at least close to a wild card spot. Like within 5 games, a wild card spot. No, not even that. Within like 2 games, a wild card spot.
They need to be a wild card team.
Yes.
They're 2 games out of the wild card right now when it becomes Perry's team in June. If this team's not a playoff team, this is Artie's team next year. Okay. And this is literally the scene from Moneyball. I know we bring this up all the time where, the GM, Billy Bean's in there saying, we still think this is going to work. Just trust us. We got to get rid of Pena. We got to get rid of Giambi, but, trust us. It's going to work.
I mean, let's be fair. We kind of sound like Billy Bean. Trout batting leadoff and nobody but Iglesias in the 9th inning.
Yeah, pretty much. So,
I mean, to be fair, it's a simple concept.
It's that same thing though, where they're sitting there trying to convince the owner, like, "Hey, don't worry, like this is gonna work. Just trust us." And Artie's sitting there going, "All right, you got June 7th all the way until the end of September. If your team's not in the playoffs, this is my team again, and you can just start to look for another GM job because I'm going to be the GM, and you can still be the GM, but I'm going to be the one making the moves."
Yeah, absolutely. So, We'll make this nice, simple, and short. I think everybody can feel what we're feeling here on Talking Halos, Nate and I. 100%. We're not in agreement with this. I'm not speak for Nate, but I know that he's not necessarily in agreement with this. We know something needed to be changed. We know there's a lot of frustration going on. I know this is a good team playing bad that is hurt. Nate, I know you think
80
this
and
is an
80,
average team
82 and 80. That's what
playing
it
to their
is.
full potential.
No, they're a little under their potential. They're under 500.
Yeah. So, like I said, I think we all know where this is going. I forgot to mention Blue Wire, but I think we have bigger things to fry than Blue Wire. Blue Wire, if you're listening, go ahead and get me one of those shirts. Us one of those shirts, get some hats. We'll promote you all day. Just at 7,000 followers, I'll promote you on there all day. Just go ahead and let me know. If you could, guys, go ahead and follow us wherever you are listening. Subscribe wherever you're listening. I take that back. Subscribe wherever you're watching, whether it's YouTube. You can follow myself on Twitter, Jared_Tims. You can follow Nate on Twitter at NateGreen34. And guys, thank you so much for listening and have a great rest of your day.